Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to another World of Warcraft video. I know it's been a little while since my last video, but I have been playing lots of WoW and diving into aspects of the game that I haven't explored much before. With the generous XP boost that Blizzard had provided us during quarantine, and now until Shadowlands pre-patch, I have been able to level up a lot of characters to max level and start to work towards making gold. I do have a goal of trying to get the Brutosaur before he leaves us, but I'm having a really good time learning the markets, working with professions, and doing something that I never expected to enjoy, and that is farming. I've been using a number of add-ons that have helped make farming materials a little more fun and efficient, and wanted to share them all with you in case you were curious on some cool add-ons you could use for yourself. First up, Gathermate 2 is an add-on that makes it incredibly easy to show material nodes directly on your map. Every time you pick an herb, mine from a deposit, fish from a pool, dig at a dig site, or even loot a treasure, Gathermate will mark that location on your map so that when you continue to farm those items in the future, you'll know exactly where to navigate. If you don't want to set up your own data from scratch from your own farming, you can import the Gathermate 2 data add-on so that you'll get all spawn points for all items you can gather based off of Gathermate's database via Wowhead. There are several options for customizing Gathermate to your own preferences. The main section allows you to choose which nodes you want to actually show up on your map. Adjust those to your specifics using the drop-down menus. Under the minimap section, you can choose to show the icons on your minimap, world map, or both. The icons are basically just the tooltip image of the item. They show up like so. You can set those icons to be keybound so you can easily turn them off and on. Adjust the icon's scale, set the tracking circle color of the nodes, and even select the tracking distance. The filter section allows you to select what nodes you'd like tracked on your map. This way, say if you only want to track Tol'vir archaeology finds or only want to track Dreamleaf nodes, just have those selected and unselect everything else. Same goes for all of the other tabs within this section. I usually have them all selected as you never know when you'll be looking for something specific and would want to know all the different spawn points that can be available. Now, one of the best ways to enhance this add-on even further is to grab another one of my favorites, and that's routes. I have been playing around with this add-on for about a month, and while I'm still learning the ins and outs of its unique features, what I have set up for myself has seemed to work amazingly well. It looks scary when you first get going, so let me show you what I have done. Once in-game, type /routes to pull up the add-on options. Once there, select Add to start adding your route. Choose the name that you'd like for your route, and click OK. Most of the time, the zone that you are in should already populate, but if it doesn't, simply select your zone from the drop-down menu. You have an option to create your own bear route, or you can import routes from other add-ons data such as Gathermate and Handy Notes. I will typically use these sources rather than create my own route, as it pulls data from nodes that I have discovered as well as all the gather spots that those add-ons have compiled. If you're pulling from Gathermate 2 data, scroll to the bottom, select what you're farming, and click Create Route. At first glance, you're going to be all, what the heck? How is this even useful? But here's how you refine it. Stay within the Routes add-on options and click on the plus sign next to the Routes option to the left. This will expand all the routes that you have created. Since this is your first route, you probably only have one. Since we're farming Cobalt in Howling Fjord, navigate down and click the plus sign to expand and find your route. There are a few tabs you can dive into, but for the sake of keeping things simple, this is what I usually do to create a more unified route. Head to the Optimize Route tab and click Cluster. See how this changed things already? Cluster essentially keeps all nodes within whatever radius you're choosing through this slider tool, meaning I would only have to get within 60 yards of these cobalt deposits to see if they're spawned. I also usually keep extra optimization checked. The next thing I'll select is foreground, which creates an even more optimized path. This can create hangups with your game, so if you find that your system isn't handling it well, you can choose background instead. Selecting the foreground may take some time depending on the nodes in the route, so be sure to give it a moment. And that's literally all I do to create a nice streamlined path to farm. You can open up your map and see the route that has been created based off the data that you're pulling from. As you start to use the route, it will slowly start to adjust based off of your farming, so don't be surprised if the lines move here and there. As you're following your newly created route, you may realize that there is a portion of your path that just isn't optimal. Head back to the Route's add-on menu and click Uncluster, and then navigate to the Edit Route Manually tab. There you can edit the route slightly to your preference. Open up your map and you'll then be able to pull and adjust the route like so. Alternatively, if you want to remove a portion of the route completely, simply right-click on the dots and they'll disappear. There you can adjust your route accordingly. Click Save Route Edit and go ahead and cluster the nodes again. Then, whenever you're ready, simply follow the route as it guides you. Customize aspects of the route under the Line Settings tab where you can change the line color, customize the width, or even choose to hide the route if you don't want it showing up on your map anymore. You can see the route on your minimap, but for an even easier way to track it, I highly recommend my next pick. This giant circle in the center of my screen is called Farmhud, and it essentially takes your minimap and places it in the center of your screen for easy gathering of materials. This took me a few tries to get used to because I was trained to always look up at my minimap while chasing those yellow dots. Of course, there are some additional customization options for it, such as assigning keybinds to easily turn Farmhud on and off, changing the size of the circle interface, changing the color of the circle, and even tracking icons as you would on your minimap, such as pets, points of interest, or quests. I personally turn off things like tracking dig sites as it creates this huge red blob right in the minimap and it's more distracting than helpful. When you first download the add-on, you may need to navigate to the Gather Circle option through the add-on menu and check Show Gather Circle for it to pop up on the screen. There are two other add-ons that I enjoy using that just make farming a little bit more fun. Loot Appraiser is a handy little window that calculates the value of a looted item. It bases these prices off of Trade Skill Master, which is another add-on I highly recommend, but we won't get into that one in this video. Pricing can be from a variety of sources, but I typically pick TSM's market value or minimum buyout. It's fun to take this into raw gold farms such as dungeons, so you can see how much gold you could potentially make. Now the looted item value needs to be taken with a grain of salt, basically due to fluctuations in prices on the auction house, but it still makes it fun to see everything tally up. You can configure it so that Loot Appraiser will auto repair your gear or auto sell all your vendor trash, and a little handy feature to enable is the Reset Instances button that you can click to reset any dungeon you're running, making your gold farming even easier. Set a gold threshold amount so that anytime you loot something over that amount, you can enable it to play a fun sound. Loot Appraiser has quite an extensive list of sounds to choose from, like these gems.
And now, me eat cookie.
Farming Bar is another simple but sweet add-on that I like that allows you to drag the item that you want to track onto the bar, and it will automatically keep tabs on how much of that item you're gathering. You can set up multiple bars to track multiple items, adjust scaling, direction, and even font. A heads-up display pops up every time you gather the item that you're tracking, and while it's not super fancy like some of the other add-ons listed here, I wanted to include it just because it's something that's easy to monitor, that I don't have to drag to my action bars, and can literally set off to the side while in use. So those are my favorite add-ons for farming in the world of Warcraft. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it and share it with your friends. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next video.